What's happening, everybody? It's the Miami Football Fanatic here again. Happy to have you guys back here for some more Dolphins content. And today I want to talk about Devante Parker and just the whole situation surrounding Devante. Just want to talk about the trade speculation that was swirling around him during the trade deadline, and just want to give an overview of his 4-year career, or 3.5-year career, you could say. But just want to give my thoughts on Devante and how I see his place with the team moving forward. So for several weeks before the trade deadline, and maybe for most of the season, there was speculation that the Dolphins were potentially trading former first-round pick Devante Parker. You could even make the argument, like I said, that he's been on the market for well over a year. And I definitely wanted him gone and traded after his third year. I think that he would have had great value then, but I think that his fourth year now, just him getting injured game after game, has just really hurt his draft stock. And recently it had been reported that the Dolphins were asking for a third-round pick in exchange for Devante, but we all know that was a pipe dream. We were never getting a third-round pick for Devante. We'd be lucky to get a fourth. It was probably going to be a fifth. And after Devante's performance against the Texans, there was no better time to pounce on the trade market and rid ourselves of the disappointment that Devante has been. When we drafted him 14th overall in the 2015 draft, we all well and truly thought that we were getting a dominant game-breaking receiver that had all the physical tools to get it done at a high level, to be our number one receiver and to be a perennial 1,000-yard, 10 touchdown a game kind of receiver. But from the outset, Devante's professional career hasn't lived up to the expectations. He's got all the talent and physical ability that you could expect from a 6'3", 215-pound receiver taking that high in the draft. He's got terrific speed, he's got great leaping ability, and he's got great hands. He really does have terrific hands. But all this promise and ability has been derailed by injury after injury and a lack of professionalism. Parker was drafted with the knowledge that he's previously operated on foot, needed another surgery, and wouldn't be fully healed to start the season. So just from the outset, he's been hurt. He was drafted hurt, and he's been hurt throughout his whole pro career. I mean, I can't remember a time when he hasn't been hurt. His first year, second year, third year, he's had back problems, ankle problems, just everything under the sun. Broken finger, just never ends. He obviously is terribly injury prone. And I get that football is an incredibly physical game, but there comes a point when you have to, accept the fact that Devante is an injury prone player that is consistently held back by his injuries. But injuries aren't the only aspect of Devante's game that have held him back. He has been incredibly unprofessional during his pro career, and it's the main reason why he's being mentioned in trade rumors. He doesn't get what it takes to be a pro. We've heard stories of Devante's struggle with eating right, hydration, and preparing his body for the 16-game NFL season. Just his approach to the game, his attention to detail is incredibly lacking. He's very immature in that way. I don't know if things are different now, but for most of his career, he's just been approaching the game the same way he would when he played for Louisville. So I don't know if he's ever going to get it, if he's ever going to take the step forward. It's probably going to take him changing scenery for him to, kick it into gear and turn into the receiver that we hoped we were getting. So obviously his lack of commitment to physical preparation has bared rotten fruit in terms of his health. Adam Gase has repeatedly spoken of Devante's struggle doing everything like a pro. Former Pro Bowl safety Chris Chambers, who runs Chambers Fitness in Davie, a facility that has trained a bunch of NFL players and many others, said he has reached out to Devante several times to offer his assistance to speed up his growth curve, but he's heard nothing back from Devante. So that just shows his approach to the game right there. The guy is just, treating one of the Dolphins greats, one of the best Dolphins receivers, just as another guy and someone that doesn't know what he's talking about. Chris Chambers said that he was even seeing my secret weapon, Dr. Peter Machanto-Kiro, an extremity expert, to help with his health, but he didn't stay consistent to the benefits through the course of an NFL season, Chambers said. He only visited him a couple times. Guys like AB, Antonio Brown, pride themselves on keeping themselves in top condition with nutrition therapy and training, plus adequate rest and recovery tools. When it gets to the season, it's way easier when you take it to that level. NFL is a shorter career, and you should do everything possible to prolong it. I don't think he has developed a consistent routine and the right team of doctors and trainers to help him get to that level. I would love to offer that, plus my guidance. Chambers also said, I don't know if he fully gets what it means to be a pro. Athleticism and talent can only take you so far. Hard work, dedication, technique will take you a long way when you add it on top of talent, and when you add it to the talent that Devante has, because he's got obvious talent. He's got all the physical talent in the world, but obviously hasn't clicked upstairs. Hearing this from a Dolphins great, a receiver at that, is incredibly discouraging. Parker, seeing this on Twitter, responded that nobody wants to hear from Chambers anyway. That statement right there just tells you exactly who Devante is. An immature, clueless player that clearly lacks personal awareness and has no desire to be one of the best in the league. Isn't willing to do what it takes to keep himself healthy and become a Pro Bowler. Another thing that really frustrates me about Devante is his lack of physical play on the field. I mean, he's a big guy, and he's 215 pounds, 220, 218, somewhere around that. He's not a skinny guy, but he certainly plays like it. He is always brought down by first contact with cornerbacks. He rarely ever breaks tackles and gets 10 to 15 yards of rack yardage. He always gets most of his yards after catch, on slants, when he's ahead of the corner. If the corner is right on top of him, he's just brought down by everyone. And we saw in the Packers game when he got injured, Jair Alexander, the Packers' first-round pick, he's a 5'10" corner. So, Devante probably outweighs him, and, he's a much taller, more physical player. But he was brought down easily by the smaller corner. And, of course, what did he do when he hit the ground? He got hurt. So it's just really discouraging when you see a guy with his kind of speed and his kind of body type. He really just doesn't play physical at all. He can't break a tackle to save his life. And I've heard a few Dolphins fans argue that they think he is more of a physical talent, and they don't agree with my assessment of his tackle breaking ability. But the tape just speaks for itself. I've never seen him break a tackle and take it to the house, or, break a tackle, get 20, 30 yards. It just never happens, and it just really has held him back. Also, the thing that really grinds my gears about Devante is his just passiveness and unwillingness to contend interceptions. We've seen time after time, last year with Jay Cutler, the years before that, even this year, when, the ball isn't coming his way, the ball is either thrown short or long. Mostly when it's thrown short, Devante, he just stands there and watches the play progress and just lets the corner catch the ball. He barely ever contends the ball like he's playing defense, which you see a lot of good receivers in the league do when they know they've lost a battle and the corner's going to have a chance to catch the ball, to intercept the rock. They always make a play on the ball and never let the corner come down with the ball. But Devante, time after time, has just stood there and let corners get the best of him, and it's just shows you the kind of player he is. He's a bit of a shy and reserved guy, like Kim Bocamper has said many times. But they try and amp him up, like Coach Gase, gives him a pep talk before every game. They always try to get him going, but there comes a point now, the guy's in his fourth season, that he just doesn't have the fire. He doesn't have the willingness to play with all he's got out there on the field. He doesn't want to, put in the work off the field with the trainers, with his diet. He might stick to something for a good, couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, but in the end, the guy he's incredibly injury prone and he's incredibly immature and unprofessional. As I said with his comments about Chris Chambers, he's just clueless, and I really want to see him gone after the 2018 season. We really cannot bring back this guy on his fifth-year option. I think it's like 9.3, 9.4 mil. We cannot play a guy who is just incredibly injury-prone, hasn't played up to his draft status, doesn't play like a physical receiver like he should, and just does not compete out there on the field. We really shouldn't be bringing him back next season. He really has to go. How can we trade him now? Like, how can we trade an injury-prone disappointment of a receiver that's going to be making 9 mil next year? Well, what team is going to want to trade for that? Like, absolutely no one. We would have had a better chance at this trade deadline of trading him, because a team, could have, maybe a contender or someone like that, could have had him for the rest of the half of the season, and then just let him go after that, not picked up his option. But now, whatever team maybe wants to trade for him in the off-season is going to have to take on that fifth-year option. And not many teams are going to be willing to do that. So, but things are looking up for us. I don't mean with the team as a whole, but I mean at the receiver position, because there are a number of great big-bodied receivers coming out of the draft this year. I haven't really watched many guys, but just by having a look at what's coming out this season, there's going to be a number of great guys that we can pick up in the second, third, or fourth round. I do not want to see us drafting a receiver in the first round again. I think that drafting a guy in the first round just puts way too much expectations on the guys. Not many guys live up to their draft status if they take it in the first round, especially in the top 20. So I'd rather see you get a guy like an Allen Robinson, who was taken in the second round. Kenny Golladay, I really love him. Lions receiver, he was taken in the fourth round. There are a number of guys around the league. Tyler Boyd, another guy who plays for the Bengals. I think he was taken in the third round. You can get really talented, really solid receivers in the draft. Oh, another guy, Courtland Sutton, plays for the Broncos, second round guy. The Broncos love him so much they traded away Demaryius Thomas. So, and what I've seen of Courtland Sutton, he looks like an awesome receiver. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. He's got incredible hands. He's got great leaping ability, and he runs incredible routes for a guy his size and a rookie. He really stays low, and I really hope that the Dolphins can find a guy like that in the draft or maybe free agency. But we definitely can replace Devante next season. I don't even know if we, have missed his production. He's barely been around, so, it's not like we're going to miss him much, but definitely can replace him, like I said, and we have to move on. We have to move on from this guy. Alrighty, guys, let me know what you think in the comments section. Let me know if you agree. But, his 4 years of his career, Devante, just speaks for itself. It's just injury after injury, inconsistencies on and off the field. I'm just sick of it, and I'm over it, and we really cannot pick up his fifth-year option. Actually, oh no, we already have picked up the fifth-year option, but we can always rescind it and not pay him, so we really can't be paying him that kind of money next year. Alrighty, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Fins up, baby.